I was recently asked by an English magazine to write about the Polish tradition of the Christmas carp. And when I gave them the text, they were very surprised, to say the least, at what it was we did with these poor fish just before Christmas. Do you remember keeping live carp in the bathtub?
I did indeed. I did. Not in London, of course. When I brought up and lived in London, but all the Christmases in Poland I spent, there's always been at the beginning maybe in our bath, later maybe not. But yes, I remember doing it.
Well, my mother, your wife, insists we never had live carp in the bathtub, but
I seem to remember, unless I'm imagining this, that I shot this picture and it's in my memory that there was that I saw a bath with live carp.
I
think it was in our house as well.
So how long would they be in the tub for, and how would they end up?
Yeah, it would just be a couple of days probably, but that's pretty bad for them in any case. For a carp,
for everyone involved.
A carp doesn't like lying in bath water for.
Well, clearly this one.
Seems to have kicked the bucket, as they say. The other ones are still barely alive,
hanging in there.
But yes, for some reason the Polish tradition is such that if you want, you have to have carp for Christmas Eve. Not Christmas Day, but Christmas Eve. You have to have fish on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
But the carp, you should buy it live, and for some reason that's been, I don't know how long that tradition.
To keep it fresh until the very last moment.
I think that's it. Yes, of course.
Not that it made any difference, because it was still disgusting
exactly.
when it was finally served.
I was never a carp fighter.
I would do anything to avoid having to eat carp.
Yeah.
So what would happen?
The killing was not a nasty thing, because you simply had to. I think what used to happen in most houses was that the man of the house would simply tell everybody to go out of the kitchen, and he would take the carp, put it on a block somewhere, and then maybe cover it with a cloth or something, and then thump it with a meat whatever you call them, a meat hammer. One thump was enough, of course. Although some people swear that they actually simply, to save themselves the bother, they would simply throw the carp out of the window if they lived on an upper floor and it was dead on arrival, as they said.
Yeah, but from what I remember, there were always cats in the courtyard. So by the time you went down to pick up the dead carp,
it might have gone by that time.
It would have gone. So I never heard of that method, but. So you remember having carp in the tub?
Somehow or other, yes. And whether I actually killed one myself, I doubt it.
Well, if not you, then who? It wasn't me.
Well, I don't know, maybe you had to hire someone to kill it.
And a carp assassin. So while the carp was in the tub, how would the family?
No bathing,
bathe, shower.
Especially there was never a special separate shower. There's just a hose here with a shower head. So you couldn't really just step into it and then hope for the best. You had to refrain from bathing for a few days.
Or you could just splash about in the basin.
The basin, of course.
And speaking of splashing about, these people, I mean, this is not our family. I can't
remember who it was, actually. This is interesting. I've always wondered where on earth I found her.
How you got into someone's
house. Could I photograph your carp, please?
Well, whose other bathroom this is, they came up with this
safety situation.
I was wondering, is it to?
I think it was a dam, just in case the whole plumbing went wrong and
it's a very intricate plumbing situation.
They wouldn't flood the whole house or the whole flat. The water would, in theory, stop by this wall. But
I thought it might just be a step for the kid to reach the sink.
Maybe, but kids grow, so maybe then you have to knock it down or something. But no, it's a good idea, of course. But I've never seen it ever since, and never saw it before. So that's the only time I just managed to find that house.
So you say you didn't have carp in London, but you did have a proper Polish Christmas.
We had carp in the sense that my mother, when we used to go to the fishmonger and ask, they had to a week or so ahead before Christmas Eve, and she had to order a carp or something.
So they had to make sure that the fishmonger had carp, because that's not something English people usually eat.
But I guess there was always a lot of Polish people
in your neck of the
since the war in the neighborhood, and I guess they used to collect orders from lots of Polish ladies.
And you would have a Vigilia, Christmas Eve dinner on the 24th?
Yes,
in London?
Yes.
Just like we
when the
did.
first star came out, which of course you could hardly see because it was always misty and so on. So, but the tradition is that when the first star is visible, then you sit down and eat your Christmas Eve meal.
And do you remember your first Christmas in Poland?
But that's a good question, actually. But then, of course, when I got married and we had you,
Yeah, I was going to ask, what about my first Christmas? What was that like? Where did you get the presents?
I think with presents was a difficult thing, but of course, having a British passport and as a correspondent, I had a multi-entry visa, an annual multi-entry visa. I could just jump in the car and drive to West Berlin. But what else could you do? I mean, there wasn't much scope in Warsaw. So I used to drive down and then stock up the car with not only Christmas presents, but also lots of other things like washing powder, clothes, or whatever.
And not just for us, not just for the family, but for...
I used to have a whole list from if anybody heard or any of my Polish friends heard that I was going to Berlin.
So you'd keep it a secret?
There would be lists of things, batteries or weird stuff.
Presents for the kids.
Whatever, even that, of course, yes. So Berlin was a busy time.
But apparently, just before martial law, you were going to set off.
Oh yeah, of course. That was actually interesting because I had no inkling that something was going to happen in December.
But someone
martial law was declared on the 13th of December, and I was about to. I told the people at Newsweek that I wanted to go to Berlin. If that's okay, I'll just jump in the car and spend a day or two and come back. And they quickly came back to me and said, "Don't go anywhere. Don't move from Warsaw. Stay in Warsaw." So that ruined our Christmas in the sense that
no presents for
martial
me.
law, but also no presents.
So you'd get this list of this wish list of Christmas presents from
the wife
and all your friends and family, and you would get in the car and. I mean, was it really that easy as just driving over to Germany for a spot of shopping?
Easy in the sense that you have to remember, the roads weren't very good. There's no motorways in Poland, at least not on that stretch.
I remember.
But also you had to deal with the border. The borders were difficult in those days.
They had to wait at the border? Or?
Often there were long lines at the borders. In and out, so you wasted a lot of time just at the border formalities.
And then, when on the way back from Berlin with a car full of toys, would you have to explain what you were doing, show documents?
Maybe explain what I was actually carrying, of course, which they might have believed or not, but I don't think they were particularly keen on unloading everything. But yeah, those.
You never had to bribe them?
No, not me. No, but it was the East German border guards were probably worse than than the Polish border guards. Yes, they were rather nasty people. Mm-hmm. So the biggest problem was with them. They were looking for if you had the Playboy magazine or something like that. They would look very sternly at you and confiscate it because, of course, they wanted it for them.
So you had your Playboys confiscated?
I especially had Playboys for them. Yeah.
Driving was one thing, but you had to have enough petrol to get to the border, and then
yes. Luckily, as a foreigner. I was lucky with petrol in the sense that if I had a car on a British or whatever Western number plates, I'd have to pay dollars for petrol. So I had to buy coupons for dollars or pounds or Deutschmarks. So that was easier. But when petrol was rationed, which it occasionally was, especially in martial law and so on, then that could have been a problem. For again, I was allowed to tank up. At one petrol station in Warsaw, especially
just one
for foreign journalists, accredited correspondents, we were allowed to tank up in one particular petrol station.
And they didn't always have petrol.
Well, I never had that much of a problem because they rationed it to everybody. It lasted for longer, I guess. But we were allowed to tank up if somebody had a ration card for 10 liters a month or a week or whatever it was, or 20, I'm not sure, but it was pretty nasty rationing. But so I was allowed to tank up, 40 or 50 or 60 liters or whatever it is. But I wasn't allowed to tank into a jerry can.
So where would
only be what was in the tank was okay, nothing else.
But once you left Warsaw, there might not be any petrol for
of course
hundreds of kilometers. So you had to have it with you.
Yes. But that was a problem. But I remember also we all had siphons. little plastic tubes.
And you suck on the siphon and
You put it into your tank, suck it out into a jerry can, and but the amount of petrol I drank actually in my life was
it's a
pretty
miracle
nasty.
you're still here with us.
Yeah, especially as my father escaped from a German prisoner of war camp by drinking petrol, getting it a very high temperature, and being put into a hospital from which he was smuggled out to escape the German prisoner of war camp.
But you know,
So when I thought of me drinking petrol, well,
it was a family tradition.
maybe so be careful there.
I haven't tried it yet, but now I'm tempted.
Nasty thing.
Well, for such an important holiday in Poland, there don't seem to be that many images of Christmas in your books. I did find one here of a Santa Claus.
Yes.
In, where is it? In Warsaw.
Yeah.
What was he doing out in the street? Was he? Seems like he's accosting
this was
baby.
a shop, the big store, especially for children, really. So there were lots
This was Smeg?
This was Smeg, exactly, yes. The funny thing is that this little poster here is a poster for the socialist youth or something, advertising some, whatever, for the Polish socialist youth. And so this is a socialist Father Christmas. So
and a terrified baby.
Oh?
The baby looks terrified at the sight of...
surprised, of course, yes.
So you just walk around outside the department store?
The life of a photographer is just hanging around, and
no questions.
It's a pretty boring for somebody who's with you. If you take somebody with you, he gets bored pretty quickly. But a photographer is a patient guy or girl, and we just hang around and see what happens.
We have a few more images of Christmas from those days in your book about martial law, actually. This is a nice one of this lady.
Buying Christmas decorations, yes.
And actually, recently we were approached by the son of this lady, who had seen this picture somewhere and recognized his...
it must be his mother.
His mother, yes. He recognized, her, obviously, and what she was wearing, and her ring. And then he sent us a picture of himself with
these things on
Christmas
the
ornaments that she had bought
after 40 years or something.
In this picture.
Yeah, it's always very moving to actually make contact with people or the family of people who are actually in my pictures.
And this was a Christmas market, or what was it?
Yes.
Here we've got another Santa in a...
there's the Santa Claus.
In a bare window display.
But people are still watching it, whether they're watching Father Christmas or whatever.
If that's the only thing in the window.
Really depressing time, especially the winter in Poland. November, December, January is pretty grim, just the weather-wise.
Well, you say that, but then you have this guy with these colourful balloons.
New Year's Eve. That's a special day.
You think that's New Year's Eve?
Yeah. Yes, he said that there's a army parade for the end of the year, I guess, and it's selling balloons for
the parade.
For New Year's Eve party, even during martial law.
We've got one last Santa here. If we can find him. This beautiful
yes, that was
poster.
That's on Constitution Square in Warsaw.
It's a very creepy-looking Santa Claus.
Yeah, well, they weren't very good at drawing these things, but it's what the text says, that the Polish circus invites you. And this was the very beginning of martial law, which was showed the Polish circus.
It's December 18th, 81.
It was 5 days after the start of martial law. So when they put up this billboard, if you couldn't call it a billboard, nobody knew there was going to be martial law. So
you think there was no circus?
I think that that was all probably cancelled. But I just like the idea of when I was shooting it. When I noticed it, I thought, well, that's pretty nice. A nice picture with the Polish circus inviting you. And we're in the middle of martial law. And I wasn't allowed to photograph the time, but I managed to pull up my camera and shoot something very quickly.
Well, judging by this Santa Claus, maybe that was for the best.
Yes.